Joined on the phone today by George McCrae, the man behind the song Rock Your Baby. He's going to be part of the Ultimate Disco Cruise coming up in 2020. Hey, George, how's it going today?
Doing pretty well yourself.
I am excellent. It's great to be speaking with you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I know there's a lot to discuss, but first I want to talk to you about the Ultimate Disco Cruise coming back for 2020. Can you tell the listeners a bit about it?
Oh, yes. Disco Cruise is going to be sailing out of Miami to Key West, to the Bahamas, and back to Miami. That's a 5-day cruise, and it's all about disco. Ultimate Disco with all the disco stars that's on it. Myself, Cajun Sunshine Band, I think the Tramps, the Drifters, Anita Ward, and many others.
Yeah, it's an amazing lineup. You can get all the info at ultimatediscocruise.com. And, you know, the lineup, this is a bill you're not going to see anywhere else. It's almost like you're back in the late 70s.
Yes, it is. One big disco party. The whole place going to be a party cruise. They have one part on the ship where it be like you would be in Studio 54. It's unbelievable. It's going to be a ball. I'm very looking forward to it, really.
Well, and I imagine for somebody like you, George, to be a part of this, it must be a bit like a class reunion in a way, hanging out with some of these groups again.
You can call it that. That's good. You can call it that, a class reunion back in the 70s. And all the stars that created the disco sound and brought happiness to millions and millions of people all over the whole world is meeting up to have a wonderful time again. It was fantastic last year. I didn't perform last year on it, but I was on the cruise because I was invited because I wanted to check it out first and see if I would like it or not. And sure enough, it was unbelievable. And you must come to this cruise. You must come and see it. You know, reminisce and enjoy yourself. Have a great time. The food is great, fantastic. It's indescribable. Really, it's indescribable.
Awesome. Yeah, and again, you can get all the info at ultimatediscocruise.com. And George, you've been in the business a long time, but you've still got the voice after all these years. I know you just had an album out called Love not too long ago, and everything still sounds great.
Well, thank you. Yes, the Love album, I recorded that with love in mind because I think this is what everybody needs nowadays, where the world is going. The same as back in the when I recorded Rock Your Baby, you know, it was like doing the Vietnam War. It was coming off the Vietnam War at the time, and we having Watergate problems, and people got sick of war, and they want love, they want peace, love, and be happy. And at the time that also was hanging, being playing with the nuclear threat. Then, duck and cover. You grew up with that all your life. And so it come like people want to dance and celebrate and say because we thought, hey, it might not be here tomorrow. So let's dance and party, have a great time. It's not under our control. And that's why this would cause disco to be born. And I was lucky enough to have record the song Rock Your Baby, but I had no idea that it would be, I call it the Disco National Anthem.
Yeah, I know. It's incredible. I knew that song was huge, but, I had no idea it sold like 11 million some copies. That is incredible.
More than that. They printed of me. I know it was more than that. It was number one all over the whole world. It was number one all of Japan, Europe, Australia, Canada, United States, South America, Central America. It's the Caribbean, you name it. It was all over the whole world. So what can you say? It made the whole world happy.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, you were one of the guys who really had major success early on with the disco sound. So of course, it makes sense that you'd be part of the Ultimate Disco Cruise. You were kind of one of the guys that ushered that whole thing in.
Yes, I were. I was the guy that did it. Me and Harry Wayne Case and Rick Finch, who later became Case and the Sunshine Band, out of Miami, Hialeah, Florida. It was a great time. He wrote the song, and he needed someone to sing it because he couldn't sing it himself. because it was too high for him, and I was the only person in the studio that around that had this high voice, can do lyrics, because I was doing background singing for TK Records, and I was always singing with Gwen McCrae and Betty Wright for all the background stuff and that we did at TK for other artists. And so when Casey and Rick came to me, he said, "Okay, give me the song." So I took the song and I listened to it, and I asked my parents, asked my sisters and brothers, my sister actually, and her girlfriends, I'd like a man to sing the song, and they told me how, and I just picked two of my favorite artists that I love to hear singing all the time. That was Sam Cooke and Smokey Robinson, and the rest was history. But at the end of it, I thought about, I was singing, so while I was singing, I just said, take me arms and rock me. Hey, take me arms and rock me. Just singing the song. Take me arms and rock. On that third one, when I finished the song, the track finished, then Rick said, "George, that last R you did, I'm gonna punch you in, and I want you to hold that last R." I said, "Okay, not a problem." And he played it. Right now, rock me. Then he punched it. I said, and that was the take. That was it.
Yeah, that was awesome. I wanted to ask you, I know there was a time when, it was kind of popular to knock disco and, burn records and make jokes and all that. But, I mean, people obviously now are looking back, realizing how good that music was and really how influential it was on a lot of the music you hear today.
Oh, yes, because the music at the time, even listen to the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and all these songs in the 60s and 70s, even Elvis, all these songs, was recorded live, and they all sung it like one song, one time, because you had no chance to, because it was all done on monologue, real tape, and you only have so much tape to work with. Rocket Baby was cut on an 8-track recording. So the sounds you get, we had to mix it down and bounce over and bounce this and mix it in all at one time, and then had to clear up a track just for the vocals. That's being creative. Now you have all the machines, 32, 54, 94, you have infinity now for recording, because of technology. And so what happened now is when you go in the studio and engineer be working and everything, and you have so much thing to work with and so many tracks to work with, they take this part and that part and put it together and dissect it and everything. And so they become, they create Frankenstein tracks. If you understand what I mean. It's not really, they take out the feeling of the soul, the emotion in the songs, and so when you hear it, you hear the song, but it's not, and when the artists get ready to sing the song live, they can't sing it. They really don't sound like the old school, the old singer, they get up and sing it, they sing it, wow, but now, take a young artist now, and you tell them to sing it live, they're not, they can't sing it. They can't sing live. Very few. You can do that.
Yeah, we'll get back to the way things used to be, the good old days, of course, on the Ultimate Disco Cruise here. Again, ultimatediscocruise.com. I'm a big fan of yours, George, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
And again, that was George McCrae, the man behind Rock Your Baby. Of course, his new album, Love, is out now as well, but he'll be part of the Ultimate Disco Cruise coming up in 2020. And get your info at ultimatediscocruise.com.